Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth, and for today's video I am going to be sharing my top 10 travel essentials. And this list will primarily be with kind of international trips in mind, but I think some of these items will serve you well on domestic trips as well. And this may kind of coincide with Amazon Prime. I'm not quite sure when this video will go up. So a lot of these items are from Amazon just because I tend to shop there for this type of item. But even if the sale is over or if you're not a Prime member, I think you will find these items quite useful. And for the first category of items that I would like to talk about, I would like to start off by thanking Luisa for partnering with me on this video. So they sent me a couple of new items, but they specifically requested that I talk about the longevity and I guess sturdiness of their jewelry and how they've held up over time. And I think this is a great video to feature them in because unlike some areas of, I guess, packing, I tend to be pretty minimalist when it comes to packing jewelry for a trip. So you may have seen these earrings that I am wearing now in many of my other videos. These are my all-time favorite earrings. I wear them all the time, constantly. So I got these earrings in October of 2021, so almost 2 full years at this point. And they've held up great. These are the Rocks Mini Silvers. And again, I've pretty much been wearing them constantly. I sleep in them because they're really comfortable to sleep in. They just form a closed little loop. So there's no kind of stud or anything to poke into your neck. And I shower with them. So that makes them a great candidate to travel with because I can pretty much just leave them in the entire trip. All I'll take for like a 2-week trip is like my wedding ring and my Apple Watch is basically all I'll wear in terms of jewelry. If you did want to bring some other options, their jewelry does come in these nice little pouches that would definitely kind of accommodate probably a few pairs of earrings if you wanted to. And they have little magnetic clasps, so they're pretty secure in terms of storing your jewelry. So I'll have some B-roll of how well these have held up, but basically they are sterling silver coated in rhodium, which helps prevent tarnishing that you might expect with other silver jewelry. These have been going strong. I also wore these Toda earrings. I wore these pretty recently. I wore them for like a month straight almost. And kind of same wear and tear in terms of sleeping in them, showering in them, and that kind of thing. These do have a tiny little post, which I'm still able to sleep in, but they're just not quite as comfortable. And if you are a gold jewelry fan, these do come in gold, and then they also have some different sizes and styles similar to this, which is really great. But just to kind of emphasize the point, all their pieces are strength and humidity tested. So they test against tarnishing, allergies, damage, and breakage. And they come with a 2-year warranty. So if you're not completely satisfied with your purchase or if anything goes wrong, you can get either a replacement or a refund with no questions asked. So I like Luisa because the pieces are high quality and durable, but they're also affordable. So their pieces start at just $39. I think these that I talked about are $65. You can get 20% off with my code that I'll have down below, which is Beth20. So that will get you a little bit of money off. And that does include free US shipping, and they also have an affordable worldwide shipping option as well. But having jewelry that is at a relatively affordable price point, I think also gives you peace of mind while traveling because you don't want to travel with really expensive or kind of heirloom pieces that you would be worried about losing. So God forbid you leave these in a hotel room or they just get lost or something, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And the very last point I wanted to make is that Luisa is carbon and water neutral because I know some of us are aware of the environmental impacts of traveling, especially by plane. So it's good to know that at least your jewelry will not have a negative impact on the environment. So that's all I have to share with you about Luisa, but that is my first travel essential to share with you, which is affordable, high quality jewelry. Okay, so next up, talking about packing. I'm sure a lot of you have used packing cubes before, or at least have heard of them. And I've used packing cubes of one kind or another for years, but recently I just upgraded to this particular style of packing cube. This is from the brand Tripped. And what I like about these in particular, so I think they come in a set of 2, same size and everything. And the main reason I wanted to get a packing cube like this is that It does have this kind of transparent section in the front, so you can kind of see what clothes you have if you have them divided by outfits or type of clothing, that kind of thing. So you have that kind of visibility. But really what I wanted was something that I could also put my dirty clothes into once I was done wearing them. So this has a lot of zippers on it, so it's a little confusing. But yeah, that is the front, and if you turn it over, there's this zipper on the back where you can put your dirty clothes once you've worn them. So it has a separate compartment. I like that because in the past I just used like a drawstring bag. I just found that it was really difficult to pack my suitcase coming home because the shapes of everything had changed. Like I had kind of these flat packing cubes, and granted, I guess you can just put all your dirty clothes back into a packing cube, but I like to be able to kind of put the dirty clothes in this as I was using them throughout the trip. So this is really great because it kind of keeps the same general shape in your suitcase, and most suitcases are rectangular, so that's nice. A drawstring bag, for example, it just kind of ends up being this like tube of clothing that's difficult to pack in there. This also does have, I think, some kind of compression functionality, which I guess doesn't really work for like dirty clothes, but yeah, you can see that it has this like gusset that you can open. So I think the idea is that you can really stuff this full and then zip this shut after you've put all the clothes in there to kind of compress it. So I know that's a feature some people look for or enjoy, but really I just like the kind of dual clean and dirty component. So that would be my second travel essential. Next up, what I would recommend is a like permanent or sturdy TSA bag. So I have this one that I think I got from Amazon like years ago, and I still have a lot of the basic toiletries I took with me on the plane, just kind of what I need for being comfortable on the plane, and like if I got to my destination and my suitcase was lost or something, just kind of some basic essentials, that kind of thing. But this to me, it just kind of keeps things a lot more compact, and it's also obviously a sturdier plastic than like a Ziploc bag, so it just feels a little bit more, I don't know, elegant going through security. And it also just keeps things, I guess, within easy reach, and you know that it's not going to kind of get mushed at the bottom of your bag, and if you put like a book or water bottle on top of it, things aren't going to kind of break. So I think this particular one that I purchased, and again, I've had it for years, I don't think it's available anymore, but I will try to find similar options that you guys can check out. But yeah, definitely recommend this. I will note that traveling to London specifically, so if you're new here, my husband is from London originally, and we, especially since the pandemic is over, try to go back at least a couple times a year. So we went back this past Christmas. We were just back kind of the end of April, early May, and we may be going back this Christmas. So I've definitely had the opportunity to test out some of these devices and everything. And if you are traveling from the US to London specifically, what I've noticed is that they don't require you to take out your toiletries on the way out. So TSA doesn't require that, but at London Heathrow, they do require that you take out your toiletries. So just keep that in mind. I tend to, again, just kind of keep everything in here just for kind of ease of access and organization, going both ways, but that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so the third travel essential is some kind of belt bag, I think they're called now, or fanny pack. And this is one that I got from Costco, so it wasn't too expensive, but I think it is kind of a dupe of a Lululemon bag. I will look for the Costco one if they still have it, but if not, I'll show you the Lululemon one. And it doesn't have to be the specific one. This is just kind of by way of example. But this is great to keep things kind of within easy reach and to know that they're definitely going to be secure. I know people used to wear fanny packs for that reason. They got kind of a bad rap, but now people tend to wear them like crossbody like this. But this specific one, it has kind of a main compartment. I guess there's like a key bungee type thing, and then some interior pockets. So you can put your headphones, your phone. I have this is the 11 Max, I want to say. So kind of the largest iPhone, put your passport, put, you know, a couple credit cards, that kind of thing, lip balm, mints, whatever you want. And then it does also have a zippered pocket on the back. Maybe that's where I would put my credit cards, just to make sure they're a little bit more secure and that they won't fall out. But yeah, this is great because the last thing you want to do is to root through a larger bag for your passport, your phone, anything that you'd be grabbing frequently. So yeah, definitely recommend that. And I also use this in the city itself in London. I don't think these are, from what I saw last spring anyway, I don't think these are as popular as they are over here in terms of just streetwear, that kind of thing. But I would just have this, and then I'd also have like a little kind of purse-sized backpack type thing that could hold like a water bottle. But this is where, again, I would keep like my phone, my credit card, that kind of thing, where especially if you're a tourist and you want to be taking a lot of pictures and that kind of thing, having your phone within reach is really nice, especially if you're not wearing like a heavy coat, that kind of thing. And just a quick note on phone coverage. I know with Verizon, you can pay for an international plan. I think we got like a month's worth of access for about $100, I think it was, in addition to our normal plan. And of course, any discounts or whatever would come off of that. I think if you're going for less than like 10 days, like a week or so, it may be less expensive to pay by the day, but that kind of varies by, I guess, your cell phone plan and your trip and everything like that. This past time, what my husband and I did was we only paid for one phone to have the international plan, and then we had it set up so that he could turn on like a Wi-Fi hotspot that I could access. So not as convenient as having your own plan and that kind of thing, but it can work in a pinch. So especially if you are traveling with a larger group or family, that may be something to consider. Okay, so next up, my fifth travel essential. So these are kind of normal sleep essentials for me, so not just traveling. But basically I have these Bluetooth masks. This one is actually supposed to be like a sport headband, so it's not really meant to go over your eyes, but because it's meant for exercising and that kind of thing, it is pretty lightweight. So if you are a hot sleeper, this is a good option. But basically it's just like a Bluetooth headset. So it has these little like kind of classic headphone type things that you can position over your ear. You can also take out the like electronics and put this through the wash, that kind of thing. But yeah, I always fall asleep to, usually it's an audiobook, sometimes it's a podcast or YouTube video, but normally it's an audiobook. So this helps to block out the light, and it also helps send me to sleep with the audio. So yeah, just normal Bluetooth. It works pretty well. I've gone through a few of these because sometimes the electronic wire, I'll show you, it charges via like USB-C, I think it is. But yeah, it just peeks through that little slit, and again, you can pull out the whole apparatus in it and then send the cloth through the wash. So I like that, again, because I'm a hot sleeper. Previously, I'd been using something similar, and I like this style specifically because some of them have Velcro, and if you have a like silk pillowcase or satin pillowcase, anything that's going to get snagged, you run the risk of damaging your pillowcase. But this just has kind of a, I don't know, like bathing suit type closure, I guess I would call it. So that's really great. It's adjustable. And then it also has kind of cutouts for where your eyes go. And as you can tell, this is much more padded, and I've already taken out the electronics, but this one has the similar kind of setup. I think the brands are different, but they're probably all made in the same factory. So yeah, that's a great option. I first found out about this through Hannah, Smoky Glow, I think. So I've been using some variation of that type of mask for a long time. So I use it on the plane if I'm trying to get some shut-eye. And it's always hard to fall asleep in an unfamiliar place, so having a little extra help in that department never hurts. Speaking of sleep, so I'll be honest and tell you that I don't think I've ever, with a couple exceptions, I've never really gotten a good night's sleep on a plane. And flying to London, my husband and I will normally fly, I guess it's the equivalent of a red eye. We'll fly out around 10:30, 11 p.m. Eastern out of DC, and then we'll arrive in Heathrow sometime the next morning, like 10:30, 11 a.m. I guess. We normally fly economy, and it's just not great. I feel like there should be more laws about how they're able to configure seats in economy. But anyway, so I've had this for a while. This is like a beanbag type pillow. Doesn't really do anything. Some people I know have the kind of foam style like this that it has a snap that you can like snap onto your luggage or whatever. I should really just toss that at this point, but anyway. So some newer options that I've tried. Last Christmas, I think I tried the turtle pillow. And this appealed to me because it's more compact. It's kind of a weird shape because it's curved. So it's still a little bit hard to kind of fit into a bag, especially like a more structured bag, and have everything kind of fit around it. But the idea behind this is that, let's see if I can figure out or remember how to do this. You basically use this kind of as a brace. So you kind of take this, I think, and like wrap it around and then Velcro it, and you just kind of do that. So in theory it works, but I don't know. I didn't find it to be optimal. Again, I find it hard to kind of sleep sitting up. So that's one option. These are not cheap options, so you might want to take that into account in terms of looking for deals or whatnot. The most recent time I tried this pillow from Cabot, I think it is. So I like that it does kind of fold up pretty compactly, and it does have this little strap that you can just, you know, put on your suitcase handle, that kind of thing. So that's a plus, and I'll show you how this works. So it rolls up pretty compactly. This does have some color variations. I think it does have like a London colorway that's red, but I went for a more neutral option. This also has some kind of apparatus that you're supposed to be able to attach it to the seat rest, so it kind of keeps you from falling forward, but I didn't really try that too much. What you do, so it's just like a memory foam pillow, but it comes up a little bit higher, and you can also like Velcro it together. And this is also supposed to be, I think, like a chin strap somehow, so that I guess it prevents your chin from falling forward. So I like this. Again, it's not cheap, but flying in general is not cheap, and certainly paying for business or first class is not cheap. So I guess you can take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but I think I would probably try flying with this again before the other one. I think last time we flew, I took this and my husband took the turtle. So I guess it wouldn't be true to say that those are really my essentials. I usually attempt to bring some kind of pillow in the hope that I'll be able to sleep, but it's a bit of a crapshoot, to be honest. So no matter how high maintenance you are when it comes to, I guess, skincare or makeup, you will probably have to bring some toiletries with you, unless you are going to a hotel and just putting yourself at the mercy of what they have. But my recommendation, or essential, I guess, is more of a style of bag rather than a specific one. I would definitely recommend bringing a hanging toiletry bag, so one that has some kind of hook like this. So this is what I took, I think, our recent weekend trip. I just took this instead of my larger, I have this old like Henry Bendel case. So I just grabbed this one. So this one I kind of just leave hanging on the back of my bathroom door. And this one is nice because both compartments zip up, so you don't have to worry as much about, the zipper's kind of bust. But anyway, yeah, you don't have to worry as much about things falling out or spilling. It's also wipeable, which is really nice. Henry Bendel is no longer there. I got to sit. But I'm sure you can find something similar. So this is kind of a big one to take. So depending on the length of your trip, it has handles where you can carry it, but then, like I said, it has a hook. So especially if you are going to a major city and staying in a hotel or sharing a bathroom with a lot of people, the counter space may be quite limited. So it's nice to have something that you can hang up either on the shower or on a hook or on the door or whatever, just to kind of free up that counter space. So definitely recommend something like that. I guess a kind of related tip is that obviously I still have leftover toiletries in these bags that I showed you, but to the extent you can, I would recommend that when you return home that you do try to use up as many of those samples or travel sizes as you can, especially if you don't travel that often, because if it's going to be a few months or even a year before you go on a significant trip, chances are those samples or travel sizes will have gone bad. So you might as well use up those items while they're fresh and purchase new items before you go on your next trip. I don't think any of us expected in, I guess, February of 2020 or even December of 2019 that it would be a while before we started traveling again. So those are my kind of basic toiletries for makeup. I did a full video where I talked about what I brought in December of 2019 when we went for about 2 weeks. And that is where I'm definitely not a minimalist when it comes to packing. I think the title of that video is actually like a maximalist in London. So this is a really good travel kit if you are going for a while or you want to take a lot. It has these kind of foam dividers that you can adjust and everything. And this helps keep things really well protected. It has like a hard case to it. It also has a place for brushes and even a little pocket that you can put like eye masks, or I think I put like the travel version of the Sigma Switch in there. So again, so if you want to devote a significant amount of real estate in your luggage for makeup, that is a good option. That's what the travel version of the Sigma Switch looks like, by the way. So our goal is always to travel light, right? So that is an option, but to try to take up a little less space in my luggage, I did pick up the Charlotte Tilbury version of this style of makeup bag. I know a lot of people have posted kind of the Amazon equivalents, but this just has like all these little compartments and then it kind of folds up. The downside to this is, so I think I mentioned in a video that I did pack makeup in there coming back from London last time, and one of my products did suffer a little bit. So it's just the packaging and it's still usable, but hopefully you can see this blush from MAC has a little bit of a dome and this one looks flat. So basically in this blush, I think just being compressed in the bag, this like plastic interior, it snapped somehow. So the product is still usable, but again, I just think there's more of a chance with kind of damage or breakage with that style of bag, but it can be hard to have things be both super protected and lightweight, right? Okay, so the next essential, and this is again more of a tip than a product specific item, and that is for any medication or supplements that you take. So I have this pill case that I got in a FabFitFun box, and this one has like a little case, but then it has kind of a standard like plastic interior that you can take in and out. So this one was nice because I had 14 days. You can see one of the boxes was broken, so I just skipped over that. But what I recommend doing is just taking a wet erase marker and writing like the days of the week or the dates, I did both in this case, on the actual pill box, so that especially if you're traveling internationally and the dates get weird, it can be really kind of confusing and disorienting. So I find that that is just a really easy way to make sure you have enough medication, and then also to make sure you're taking it when you're supposed to. I think doctors recommend that you still take the bottles just in case, you know, you're traveling with anything that could potentially cause a problem. They can see that it was prescribed to you, but that is a nice way to kind of keep things organized. And I like having the kind of unlabeled or blank ones, especially because I know they have the days of the week, but sometimes it may not kind of match up, or you're going midweek or whatever. So it just, I think, makes it a little bit less confusing to do that. And I still have all the markings on there from last time, but you can just take a damp paper towel and wipe it off and start anew. So that is another essential item for me. Next up, I have a white noise machine. So I told you I was a high maintenance sleeper. So I have a kind of full size white noise machine that we use at home. I know some people like fan noises. This is basically the same idea, but yeah, there we go. So it just makes that noise. You can adjust the volume. I think there's some different modes. Yeah. So this just charges by, I don't know, some sort of USB cable. You can hang it on a bedpost or just have it next to you on the nightstand, that kind of thing. It's pretty compact, and like I said, it is rechargeable. I can usually get more than one night out of this per charge, but either every day or every other day I'll just plug it in before we go out, and then by the time we get back it's all set to go. So again, even if you may not use a white noise machine at home, it may be something to consider, especially if you are used to like a fan noise at home. or if you're going to a city where you don't know if there's going to be city noise or noisy neighbors, that kind of thing. So just gives you a little bit more of a buffer sound-wise, I guess. And barring that, I have actually found YouTube videos in a pinch that are just like 8 hours of fan noise. So you could connect to your phone or whatever and have the fan noise come through via Bluetooth to your headset. So that's another option, but I usually have both going. So that is my 9th essential. Number 10 is all about plugs and charging. So this is kind of a new thing that I just tried out recently, but this is like a 3-piece charging unit. I think it's meant for like your headphones, your watch, and your iPhone. I'm pretty sure it works for the iPhone. I'm not sure if it works for other devices, but I do have an Apple Watch, as I mentioned, and that little piece pops up so you can put your watch on there. I was using a different style of charger in the past, and I just found that my watch wasn't necessarily staying connected to it, and I think this one works a little bit better, especially if you have a nightstand or have someplace to put this, like a dresser. It just has one cord going into it to charge all 3 devices. So that cuts down on the number of cords and everything that you have to take with you, and it just kind of folds up pretty compactly like that. So again, this is a relatively new find, but so far it's been working out. For charging on the go, I recommend something like this. I'm not sure that this is like the best option there is, but basically this is just a little battery that you can plug into your phone. I usually have to take my case off because it's a bit thicker. But yeah, so that way you can still kind of hold your phone and use it without having it tied to a huge power brick. And this will kind of give it a little bit more life. So especially if you have maybe an older phone or the battery isn't quite as reliable, it's great to have a little bit extra insurance. This one also has a little kickstand, so you can prop it up, especially if, I think a lot of phones have USB charging in the seats, but anyway, if you wanted to use that as a little stand for your phone, and I think it even has a spare like USB-C. So if you and your traveling companions have different types of phones, different charging needs, you can use either one. So yeah, again, not sure it's the best one on the market, but it's worked well enough for me. So some kind of on-the-go charging is great. And then for kind of routine charging, like back at the hotel or whatever, I usually go with one kind of normal US to British converter for like my computer mostly. So I have that, but since most things are charged via USB at this point, what I think is the most space-saving option is to get a like multiple USB charger like this. So this one I guess has 4 ports. Again, I'm not sure if this one is the best on the market, but I would just look for one like this. And then it has the standard kind of US plugs. So again, you could take this domestically, but then it had, I think this is the right one. It has an adapter for overseas. So I think this just slides in somehow. So I think this one actually goes to my LED mask. I think this is the one I want. So yeah, it just goes in like that. So you can connect it to a UK outlet and then charge everything via USB. So this is really handy. And I think these come with like a variety of different options for like European or wherever else the plug options vary across the world. So that's it for number 10. I think I promised you 10, but I have one bonus one that I want to share. And that is, I know that I talked about phone plans and that kind of thing, but I think it's also nice just to have like a little notebook on you. And this size, by the way, I think also fits in the little pouch I showed you. So it's a great thing to have on the go. You can make a note of any reservations you have, addresses, that kind of thing. I have 2. This one I've obviously been using. But this is the Moleskine London City Notebook. It says, the first guidebook you write yourself. And it may just be easier to look things up on paper, even though I know that's really old-fashioned. They don't have cell service or internet on the tube for the most part. And this one, I think it may be a little outdated. It says September 2017. I'm not sure if they're going to kind of continue publishing these, but they do have some maps in them. And even a tube map. Again, I think this is outdated because it doesn't have the Elizabeth line on it. They do in the tube station have these little things that you can pick up. And you can also download apps that are available offline, that kind of thing. But yeah, so I picked up one of those. It has some things on here. This is convenient. Like size conversions, because UK and US sizing is different. It has some travel planning, even a ruler. It's going to be kind of blown out there. But it has more detailed maps. Then we get into like lined pages that you can take notes on. I also like that it has these little tabbed sections. So for example, just covering up things that I've actually written. I wrote like tea, because we like to do a lot of teas, shops, attractions, and restaurants, so I can know where to flip to. I like to kind of jot down our itinerary because it has these sections, so you can write down by day what you plan to do. So if you are a planner or like to stay organized, I think this is a great little thing to have. I like the functionality that this offers, but you can also just take a plain notebook if you want. And it even has, I think, some tracing paper. I'm not sure exactly how you would use that. Has a little pocket you can stick receipts and that kind of thing in, and it even has, I think, some stickers. And I'll just quickly share 2 more quick tips with you. This is just more information and maybe some preparations that you can make. So the first is to travel by the tube, their Metro Underground system. You can just use a credit card and tap to pay. And then I think those charges will show up within a couple days. It's not like immediate, I don't think. They may put a hold on your card for a certain amount. I don't know. You don't have to worry about getting an Oyster card is what they call them for some reason. This is, I think, the original one that I got when I was a student in 2006. But I used it since and it still works. So if you are traveling with children or something that you don't want to have them hold on to a credit card, then you might want to consider that. And I think there may be some like tourist packages and that kind of thing you can look into, or if you purchase it abroad, you may get some kind of discount, but we just kind of tend to travel with a credit card like the locals, I guess. And then the other thing you want to look into if you're traveling internationally is the passport app. At least flying into Dulles, I don't think many people are aware of it, and it can significantly cut down on the amount of time you have to spend waiting in passport control, because they have a separate line, and it really isn't difficult to fill in and to use or anything like that. So definitely worth looking into if you are a US citizen. So I think that's all I wanted to share with you for this video. I could probably do a part 2 if you all are interested, so just let me know down below. Or if you have any questions about traveling to London generally, I would be happy to kind of give you my thoughts and my perspective. And if all else fails, I can ask my husband. So again, I hope you found that helpful. Again, I highly recommend checking out Anna Luisa, whether you are traveling or just enjoying a staycation by the pool or at the beach. I think you'll really enjoy their pieces. So I'll have all that information down below. But until next time, I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.